everybody from Plant Review. Today 24th of April, so mid-spring. I will talk about the Tulipa linifolia, the flax-leaved tulip or Bokhara tulip. This is a species tulip that is distributed in the wild in Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan and Iran. This is a member of the Clusiana group, of the Clusiana tulips, and it is a very small species. It is about between 10 and 20 centimeters tall, with the bright green leaves that are usually undulated, as you can see, with the red margins, and it is a very slender and narrow leaves and stem. It's a very elegant tulip, and being quite small, that's a tulip that I can recommend either in a pot, or if you have a rockery, it is great in a rockery or at the front part of the border. Indeed, I have some. I'm sorry because now they're in the shade, but you can still see how nice they are at the front of the border. They are, even if they are obviously surrounded by much bigger plants like lilies and irises, they have still been able to bloom spectacularly. And this is an area actually quite sunny, just a little bit of shade in the afternoon, but as you can see, the bright of the red is really great contrast against the foliage of the other plants nearby. And I have a few pots of Tulipa linifolia, as you can see. I have bought about 100 of them from Flower Grazing and other from Pottertons as well, and they are absolutely stunning flowers. As you can see, the red is incredible. The flower itself was also quite big in comparison to the plant. It is about 6 to 7 centimeters in diameter, and the outer part of the petal is a light red, but really you don't see it much because obviously you will see the plant from the top, and you can see just the very vivid scarlet red of this species of tulip. Unfortunately, I can't detect any fragrance, but for such a display of this species is not really. I can I can forgive the lack of fragrance for such a beautiful color. So, as usual, for most tulips, it needs full sun or at the most partial shade, very well drained soil, and it's a very hardy tulip. I find it. I planted some bulbs 2 years ago, and they are continuing blooming even today, even in this period. So that is definitely one of my top 10 choices for tulips to have in the garden. I hope you enjoyed the video. About availability, it's not sometimes you can find it in garden centers, but not very often. It's a much better idea to book it online from specialist nurseries. That is quite a cheap bulb. Usually per bulb you pay between 10 and 30 pennies, so it's not an expensive bulb at all, and this is great. So you can have a nice number in a pot or in your rockery or at the front of your border to enjoy the great show of bright red flowers in mid-spring. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.